welcome back. We're officially halfway through 2026, so I'm going to check in my goals and see how I'm doing. For those of you who don't know, I'm Nay from New Zealand. I'm 32. I quit my job a few months ago and bought a one-way ticket to the UK. Now, I'm usually a goal type person, and for the last couple of years I've made posters and put them on my wall as a constant reminder. But this year I knew I was going to do a bit of traveling, so at the start of the year I set out my goals in my bullet journal, which we'll go over. Before we get into the goals, I was just going to do a bit of a recap on what 2026 has had in store for me so far. So January, I spent the new year with my dance friends at a party, and then I skipped out on that and went to my other friends in the city and saw fireworks at their apartment. Spent time at the beach with my family, enjoying the summer. So it's summer over there, so I've double summered now. And I also went to my first festival ever. This was vaguely on a bucket list for me. I went to Kiwiburn. It was really fun. It did rain a little bit. February, had a costume party with my friends, more dancing. March, I went to Wellington and did a dance competition. I went down to Picton, so the top of the South Island, with some really good friends and stayed in their family holiday home, and went out to a bunch of vineyards and did a boat tour and just went to pubs and just hang out with them, and they're amazing. I actually saw them in London last weekend. And then April, I had been spending the year helping my friends who were getting married choreograph their wedding dance, and then I obviously went to their wedding and watched it, and it was so moving seeing them dance together. And then I had my leaving party, so a proper send off with all my dance friends, and a few of my other friends from out of town came to see me off, and then my best friend came to the airport with my mum and said goodbye. Very emotional, and we cried. I cried, they cried. It was very special, but I'm grateful that I have such caring, kind people in my life. Then in May, I had a stopover in LA for a bit, kind of just going places and walking rather than going to attractions that cost money, because I didn't know if I was coming to a job or gonna have to go home again. Landed in London, did all the touristy things, looked at the museums, went to a show at West End, went to the Sky Garden, had a cocktail up there, and then I headed over to Europe. So I went to Amsterdam, looked around the city, caught up with some people, did some dancing, went to the windmills, saw some clog making, then caught an overnight train, my first overnight sleeper train to Berlin. And then when I looked at the Holocaust Memorial, the painting on the Berlin Wall, saw a bunch of other touristy things, all the museums, had a pretzel. Then I caught another overnight sleeper train to Vienna, and I saw the Lipizzaner horses training, which was very cool. Unfortunately, we're not allowed to film anything. And then I did some shopping, ate some good food. Then I caught a quick train to Hungary and went to Budapest, stayed in a hotel there finally. And went to the Roman baths, and then that's where I had a dance competition, so I checked into another hotel, my very first dance competition, knowing literally no one. It was interesting. And then I went and walked around the city. It was hot. It was one of the first heat waves, I think, this year. I was kind of hiding from the heat, and then flew back a few days before starting my new job. In June, I've also been working. The other weekend I went to London, caught up with my friends, and did the first 200-pound challenge, which is linked here or somewhere. So let's first start off on a positive note. The goals I have completed out of my bingo card. The first one, and the big one, is moving countries. I've done that. Moved from New Zealand to the UK. Scary, fun, exciting. Another goal was to visit 3 new countries. I have actually visited like 6, so we'll put the US, UK and Netherlands because those are the first 3 I visited. I also completed a postgraduate paper before I left New Zealand, and I'm just trying to slowly tick away at these. I have a goal to do another one. Another goal was to make a final in a dance con, and I'm thinking of you, and I don't want to. This smash this because I got second. They announced my name and I just stayed sitting because I was like, it's not me. Got a new phone, literally filming on it right now. The next one was gift my entire yarn basket. Sounds more exciting than it was. I mean, I make a lot of gifts for people. I just made sure I gave these to everyone before I left the country and also had some spare yarn left over for people to make their projects with. So yeah, and the next section is the goals that are in progress. Is attend 4 live events. So I have gone to a comedy show and a theatre show. So I'm halfway through this. I have read 12 books, so I'm up to 6 out of 12. I have read these books so far, which means I am on track. Video call with one of my sisters, I've done 1 out of 4. This is a bit of an age gap, so I was just making sure I kept in contact even though I've left the country. Video call my probably 2 best friends, which I've done 3 out of 4. One of them we just video called to play games, which is really fun. Another goal is 4 social media free weeks. I have done 1 so far, but sort of moving countries and traveling, it was kind of using social media to research where to go, what to do, contact people, and then also in the downtime and traveling and transport kind of entertain myself. Next one is run 50 kilometers throughout the year. I ran 11 before I left New Zealand. When moving, I haven't really felt like running because I I get lost. And there's been like 2 heat waves in Europe since I've been here. Another one is get 4 massages throughout the year, so 1 a quarter. I have had 1 so far, so behind on this goal. Another one is post 10 YouTube videos. This will be number 3, so keep watching for more. Another one is have 4 volunteer activities throughout the year, so 1 a quarter again. I have done 1 so far, which is spending one of the days in the weekend pulling out a bunch of weeds around a lot of native seedlings in New Zealand, which actually was a bit of a back workout, so yeah, benefits to me and benefits to the environment. The next section is goals that are not going to plan. The first one is 50 gym sessions throughout the year. I've done 1, just a single 1. I've done about 5 hot Pilates in Auckland before I left. I wonder if I should count these, because I mean I sweated more than I would in the gym at those. Another one is write a will. This costs a small amount of money from what I've seen. I'll get this one done during the year. Another one is a 1-month move challenge, so making sure I move my body every day of a month. I haven't done this consciously. I may have done this accidentally while traveling and walking. I don't know. I'll see. I'll probably try to do this properly once I've settled in a little bit. Another one is 10 solo dance classes. So I do partner dancing, which doesn't count. And I've been wanting to focus on sort of my own solo dancing and improve on my technique. So this is doing another style of dance that hopefully will improve my partner dancing. Done 1, but once I feel like I'm a little bit settled, I think I'll find dance class that I enjoy. I think this one should be a fun goal. For no spend weeks, I do pretty poor on this one. I've done none. Moving countries has not really been helpful for this one, and being always on the go, something to work on. Another one is do a monthly challenge for my posture. Check in every day about my posture, potentially do some more exercises specific on strengthening my back, making sure I sit up straight. Another goal is specifically go to Italy. I could have done this when I was traveling around, but I've always wanted to go to Italy. I kind of have made it a big thing in my head, and I want to plan it and have a budget for this. It's not just kind of like backpacking around. Like I want to stay in cute villas and go to vineyards and go to the smaller towns. Another one is to invest $5,000. I would say I failed this one because I think I invested $1,000. I don't know if I'm going to make it this year just because I'm on a bit of a lower salary than I have been when I made this goal. Do another postgraduate paper. Again, probably thinking of doing this in the UK winter, where I can monopolize on just being at home, being warm and cozy, trying to be warm and cozy. Another one is to find the perfect flat trail running shoes that are waterproof, and I have been to so many shops to find these. So I like this brand of shoe. These are dirty. So I mean the white ones have been good so far, but I think black waterproof, they would be elite. I like to have less stuff that does more things. Probably going to spend 100 to 200 pounds on those. So that was my mid-year check-in. Thank you for watching so far. As you can tell, there have been some wins, a lot of life changes, and there's some things I really need to knuckle down and get done. Maybe once these heat waves pass, because it has been hot and you can't get away from it. UK does not do air conditioning. Everywhere is set to heat, even if it is 37 degrees outside. So every bus you get into, every train is like a little sauna, which, you know, I paid to do at the start of the year when I went to Hot Pilates, but I don't want to do that on the way to work. So the second part of the year will be me settling into a new flat, getting a new routine going, meeting people, reaching some of my dance goals. Again, more traveling, because why not? If you have a goal list for 2026, let me know how you're tracking in the comments. I want to know if anyone else's goal was to move countries this year, and how they're going, how are you surviving? Have you got any tips? So far I've just been video calling my friends and family a lot and kind of figuring it out. Everything's really novel at the moment, so it's all quite exciting for me. If this seems like a bit of you, like and subscribe. If not, don't watch. Anyway, see you on the next one.